What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for stopping by the channel once again today. I got a little bit of extra for you. It is Thursday, April 14th, 2022. I'm JD from New York. It's happy hour somewhere. And this is the OTS venue. Again, thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Thursday afternoons, wherever you may be. Fan outrage over Satnam Singh debuting the way that he did on AEW Dynamite. I got the reason why he debuted last night for All Elite Wrestling. Former WWE talent already in AEW after 1 week quitting the company. He's right back doing what he was doing with WWE, now with AEW. I got news on FTR and what the possible plan could be for them moving forward for the rest of the year. And I got updates on AEW's video game and Rey Fenix. So make sure you guys grab a cold beverage. I got a little bit of extra for you, and thank you guys so very much for joining me on this OTS Extra. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys are in the know when I go live and when I upload. That is what the bell is for, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe and turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other videos that you might have missed on the channel. Monday Night Raw, NXT 2.0. We were live last night for AEW Dynamite, and we even did a little extra yesterday on Braun Strowman being blacklisted by AEW. All that content now live on the homepage. And make sure, like I said, hit that thumbs up, guys. Let's try for 1,000 likes on today's OTS Extra. I'm not going to apologize for what I said and the way I came off, in my opinion, on what Tony Khan did with the Giant Singh, Satnam Singh debuting at the end of Dynamite. I honestly think I was more upset that the sound issue on Jesse's end was as bad as it was for the first 5 to 10 minutes of last night's show, and I was thrown off my game. I'm a perfectionist. I take great pride in my sound. I take great pride in my presentation. I take great pride in how I present what I do here. I want to make it my own little world. And when things aren't the way that I expect them to be and want them to be, I feel bad about it because I feel like I did not put my best foot forward. I honestly think I let all of that kind of get to me, and it really ruffled my feathers a little bit more and added on top of the displeasure that I had about the ending of Dynamite. So let me get that out of the way. I'm not going to apologize for my opinion on the Giant Singh last night. There were a lot of people that told me to give it a chance. Let's not jump down this guy's throat already and end him after 5 minutes on TV. Let's see how it plays out. I always hear it. I always see it. Let's see how it plays out. Let it play out, they say. I'm not going to sit here and apologize to Tony Khan because Tony Khan needs to understand that we all love and care about his product. And if I'm a little too harsh, that's just the way that I am. If I'm a little too critical and opinionated, that's the way that I am. That's what I built this show on. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. He needs to understand the mistakes that he made in the past continue to be brought up in the future. I honestly think of the way that this debut went off last night, the way that it went off, if it was done any better or any different, I don't think people would be complaining. It was the way that it was executed that people were upset about the most from what I see. Never mind the fact that he's a great Khali ripoff. Never mind that he is very similar to everything that we hated about the great Khali. These giants in particular are very one-dimensional, and I don't really get the appeal of the 7'3" this guy is, giant, showing up on AEW television. Now, I know that Tony Khan knows that there really isn't much that he can do with this roster on AEW television. I don't expect him to come on in like the great Khali and win world fucking championships. That's not his purpose. But the vast similarities and the skin-crawling nightmare feeling that we got watching him and then thinking about the great Khali and how awful television was when he was there. and how awful television is when Omos is on TV and Omos is in the ring and how one-dimensional they are. The shelf life of these types of characters is incredibly small. I don't see the value there. I don't see the worth. I don't see why we should really just invest ourselves in that type of character. God help my soul, I'm going to reference two names in particular here. The Giant Gonzalez and Great Khali. Great Khali, when we first seen him debut on SmackDown, I believe it was The Undertaker on SmackDown. I don't know who he was wrestling on SmackDown, but all I remember is Michael Cole and Taz. Great Khali was actually trending last night on social media. So I'm not the only one that is thinking of the similarities between the two. Michael Cole and Taz were on commentary. Who is that? Look at the size of this man. He came walking down with his trainer, and he was towering over the crowd. The lights didn't go out. He walked down the aisle. We saw this menacing presence. We saw this big guy making a beeline to The Undertaker, and he destroyed The Undertaker on his first night. That's a pretty big fucking deal. That's a pretty big fucking deal. Not many people can really match the size and the height and the aura of The Undertaker. The Undertaker's got a different type of aura than the Great Khali, but the size of this man dwarfing The Undertaker, who's 7 foot in his own right. It's a great visual. I get why Vince does it. He loves the visual. That's why he booked Omos and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. Tony Khan last night, and the Giant Gonzalez. Now, let me not forget about the Giant Gonzalez. He made his debut at the 1993 Royal Rumble, way back in the time machine. Some of you guys probably don't even remember. Giant Gonzalez made his debut at the 1993 Royal Rumble, and The Undertaker was going on his way to win the Royal Rumble in 1993. At one point, he was in the ring by himself, throwing guys out left and right. He was the only one in there. All of a sudden, the Giant Gonzalez comes down, and I loved the debut of the Giant Gonzalez. He sucked. But I loved the debut of the Giant Gonzalez. He came in wearing this man suit with fur all over it. And The Undertaker was the only one in the ring. He gets in the ring. He clubs The Undertaker to death. And he eliminates The Undertaker with ease. The snap of his fingers, gone. I remember watching that as a young child. And I said, what the fuck? He's not even in the match. How could this constitute as an elimination? And he just destroys The Undertaker. And the people that were coming down the aisle to get into the Rumble match, because the buzzer kept going off. I think there were like 3 or 4 different people that didn't even want to get in the ring because of what he was doing to The Undertaker. Damien Demento was out there, and Skinner was out there. Old names, old school names. Just standing around the ring watching this shit. Nobody was helping The Undertaker. He puts his hands in the air. He's ringing The Undertaker's leg around the ring post. And this guy dominated The Undertaker like nobody has dominated The Undertaker up until that point. He eliminated him with ease like a fucking child from the Royal Rumble. Then they went on to have a fucking terrible WrestleMania match and a god-awful feud that I don't really care to remember. All I remember from WrestleMania 9 was the fucking chloroform and The Undertaker, being carted off to the back and then coming out and getting his revenge on the Giant Gonzalez. Ridiculous. It was awful. But that's what the WWE did back in the day with The Undertaker. Oh, let's find these nonsensical, carny, absolutely terrible giant men to go up against The Undertaker. There was a period where he wrestled some of the worst wrestlers in the history of the company. Giant Gonzalez being one of them. And WWE did the same thing in SmackDown's heyday. Nobody wanted to see that. The visual is the selling point. Outside that, you got pretty much nothing. Now, the reason why I went over all that is because Tony Khan, the way he debuted this Giant Singh last night, it didn't go off the way those debuts went off. And there are vast similarities to those debuts. If this guy came walking down the aisle with Sanjay Dutt, and this guy was towering over the crowd, and he gave off this menacing presence like the Giant Gonzalez did in 1993, and Tony Khan booked it a little bit more normal than, what we saw last night. Lights go out, and then this guy standing in the ring, and the crowd's chanting, "Who the fuck are you? Who are you? Who are you?" Right from there, it was a disaster. You can't feed this audience that type of debut in that manner and then have it go off the way you want. This is not the type of crowd to be fucking around with, especially with the New Orleans crowd that was hot all night for everything. They died for that segment. And they gave you exactly what they gave you because of how you handled it. When the lights go out, I don't want to see Giant Singh standing there. When the fucking lights go out, I want to see Wyndham Rotunda standing in the ring. When the lights go out, I want to see Johnny Gargano standing in the ring. When the lights go out, I want to see Cesaro standing in the ring. That's who I want to see standing in the ring. And the lights don't need to go out for every new debut or newcomer in AEW. It is a tired trick that they've relied on time and time and time again for everybody. When the lights go out, it doesn't feel special anymore. It doesn't. It's some old school fucking, wrestling promoter trick to, oh my God, the lights go out. The lights went out. What's going on? Unpredictability. Oh my goodness. Who's it going to be? This guy should have been given a proper debut, not something that came off the way that we've seen everybody else come off. And then with this crowd not knowing who he is, they expected somebody that they knew. If Killer Kross was standing in the fucking ring, then he would have got a holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Can you imagine Killer Kross with the lights going out, standing in the ring with Scarlett? Or even Braun Strowman we mentioned last night. Braun Strowman standing in the ring probably would have got a fucking half of an arena chanting holy shit. Because we know who they are. They command that type of reaction. They are going to get that type of reaction because we know who they are. We didn't know who this guy was, and that's why it failed. The similarities of the Great Khali and the Giant Gonzalez and Omos, I don't think AEW needs this type of individual, this type of performer, this type of carny act on their television show. But it would be wrong of me and unfair of me to automatically shit on Tony Khan's decision. I'm shitting on the decision creatively. I wasn't thinking in the business mindset. AEW's 3 years old. I know why they did it, and Dave Meltzer talked about it on The Observer last night after Dynamite went off the air. The reason why the Giant Singh debuted on AEW Dynamite is because AEW has plans with the merger of Discovery and Time Warner, and they want a big presence from India on their television show. Dave Meltzer said that this was designed to build the AEW brand in India and has a lot to do with the Warner Media Discovery merger. AEW has had its programming on the Discovery-owned channel Eurosport India, which is a deal that Tony Khan made based on the merger between the two companies. The first week after the merger was done, Khan wanted to do an angle that would be a way for the company to break out in the market and use somebody that was renowned in that country. Singh, Dutt, and Lethal will be pushed as the lead act in the promotion of the brand of India. WWE did the same thing a few years ago when they pushed Jinder Mahal and made him the WWE champion. I get why WWE did what they needed to do with Jinder Mahal. Was it right? For business, it was. But they absolutely risked every single aspect that was SmackDown up until that point. SmackDown in 2016, going into 2017, right before Jinder won the title, SmackDown was putting on the best WWE show in all of the company, especially for the main roster. I can't really say that about NXT, but NXT wasn't even at its hot point in 2016. It might as well have been the best show that WWE was putting on. But WWE, they risked and broke everything creatively by making Jinder Mahal the WWE champion. They basically sabotaged SmackDown because they wanted to break out in the Indian market with Jinder Mahal being the face of the company, holding the biggest title in the company, all because of business affairs in India. I get it, but it's not right creatively. It almost broke the back of SmackDown completely to a point where it was never going to recover. Now, I don't think that's going to be the same thing here with this, clearly. It's not going to be the same thing at all. But if the debut went off a little bit better than it did, I don't think people would be complaining today after what we saw last night. Tony Khan needs to stop doing the rinse and repeat. Oh my God, the lights go out. You know, the lights need to go out and somebody that we all know needs to stand there. When the lights go out and you see somebody that you've never even heard of, there was no video packages, there was no mention of this guy at all outside of a fucking tweet last September saying that this guy was training to become an AEW wrestler. Outside of all of that, nobody knows who they are. Nobody. Nobody knew who this guy was. And that was your number one grave mistake to the reason why you got fan outrage today. Am I going to give it a chance? Of course I'm going to give it a chance. You want to know why I'm going to give it a chance? Because Tony Khan, more times than not, knows what the fans want. If the fans hate something, he's going to actively change it. If the fans love something, he's going to continue doing what he's been doing. If this is outrage from the fans, I fully expect Tony Khan to go back to the drawing board and reassess the situation and change what we've seen. I don't think people want to see him wrestle, and I think Tony Khan knows that people don't want to see him wrestle. After what we saw last night, I mean, I don't know why people are coming to me, or why is he a great Khali 2.0? Oh, because he's from India. Some people were blasting me for that opinion. Meanwhile, I wasn't the only one that had that opinion. I mean, open your eyes. This guy is the same size as Khali, doing the same finishing move. Excuse me for not fucking, going along with everybody else. Holy shit. I don't take back anything that I said last night. But I will give TK a chance on this to see him rectify it, because he's done so in the past. But holy shit, does he have to stop the bullshit? A little thinking could have went so far in this. I don't know who made the ultimate decision. It probably was TK. He makes all the decisions there. Why that decision was made for the lights to go out and then have somebody like that we don't know debut on television, and he expected something else but the reaction that he got. Video packages, vignettes, or something letting us know this guy was coming. If you gave us 4 or 5 weeks of vignettes highlighting this guy and getting the fans conditioned to who he is and what he looks like and his background, I don't think anybody would have pieced the fucking puzzle together that he was going to be aligned with Jay Lethal of all fucking people. And Sanjay Dutt. You could have given us a little insider scoop on who he was. If this was the plan to debut him, then something should have been done beforehand to get us conditioned as to who he is. So when we see him on television, it's not a who the fuck are you and why are you here situation. Business is business. Creative is creative. Business has ruined WWE creative. I don't want to see the same thing happen to AEW Dynamite. I think Tony Khan knows exactly what's going on, because in the wee hours of the morning when we were all ranting about it on social media and on YouTube, Tony Khan put out the graphic that Satnam Singh was all elite. He deleted the tweet. He knows. So don't sit there and think that Tony Khan doesn't know the displeasure of the fan base about how Dynamite ended last night after what was a good show on Dynamite. He knows. So that's why I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here, and I want to see him fix it. And if it is not fixed, obviously I will continue expressing my displeasure and my opinion, which I'm not afraid to do, because all these giants, they're all cut from the same fucking cloth. Bobby Lashley's feuding with Omos. It did not do anything for Bobby Lashley. It will not do anything for Bobby Lashley. How many people have WWE sacrificed in order to get Omos over? Nothing has worked. You cannot take somebody like that and then bury everybody for him and expect him to get over. Fans are not stupid. This is not the AEW way. This is not a part of their mission statement. Their mission statement is creating an alternative to what we see on Monday and Friday night. If you give us something that we are usually in the know of on Monday and Friday night, we usually see on Monday and Friday night, people are not going to be happy with that. We don't want to see what they're doing. We don't want to see the same type of fucking characters that they're doing. You don't need that type of character on TV. I hope to God that his role is limited. I hope to God his role is limited. Bodyguard, muscle, whatever you want to do. This guy gets in the ring. This guy gets in the ring at all for any reason. It is not going to go over well. Not with this audience. Pat Buck. Pat Buck left WWE. He left WWE right after WrestleMania, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, analytically, for WWE, supposedly. He quit WWE after WrestleMania. His name was linked to two matches. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, which was one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. And his name was linked to Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. All of a sudden, the following day, on Monday, after the Roman Reigns-Lesnar match ended in the disastrous way that it did, with everybody thinking Roman was hurt, WWE seemingly fired Pat Buck because of the displeasure, I'm sure, that they all had with the way that these matches came off, because he was the producer of both of these mega main event matches. Just a little over a week after quitting WWE after WrestleMania, Pat Buck, real name Pat Buckridge, is now working for AEW. PW Insider's reporting that Buck started with AEW as a producer, and a source says that he was actually at last week's Dynamite show as well. Along with Michael Hayes, Pat Buck helped produce the WrestleMania main event between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. Buck also produced the SmackDown's Women's Championship match between Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Buck reportedly citing wanted to have more time for his family as one of the reasons why he left WWE, and the schedule would not allow that. Obviously, AEW's schedule will grant him a lot more time at home with his family. He also stated that he felt like he achieved his goal of producing one of the WrestleMania main events. Buck also did some work in talent relations, and he had been helping to scout potential new signings. Buck's jump to AEW is not surprising because he has a lot of friends and former students over there. He co-owns the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy in Long Island and New Jersey with Brian Myers. Some of the names to come out of that school include Hook, Chris Statlander, and MJF. You know, he went on social media and wrote everybody a long-winded note that he wanted to spend more time with his family. He wanted to focus on Creative Pro and doing everything that he's got to do for his wrestling academy, which may be all factual information. It may all be true. But the reason he said he left was because he wanted to spend more time with his family, and the WWE schedule was a little bit too rigorous for him. And then he wanted to work a WrestleMania show. He accomplished that, and then he gets up and leaves. I don't understand why you want to accomplish producing a match at WrestleMania and then not want to do another WrestleMania. You know, you get that first taste of your first mega match at WrestleMania. Don't you want to continue doing that over and over and over again? I don't understand why you would want to do one and then you bounce. It's like somebody winning a fucking championship. Oh, yeah, I'm good with one. You don't want to repeat or try for a repeat? You don't want to have a whole handful of fucking championship rings? Seriously, you win one championship, you want to go win another one. You don't want to win one championship and then go home and fucking retire. There's a legacy. There's pride. Michael Hayes was not going to be let go. Michael Hayes, he's been there longer than anybody. He's not going to take the downfall for that. So if his name was on the list of producers along with Pat Buck, who do you think they're going to go and fire? They're not going to fire fucking Michael Hayes and all the knowledge and years he's got under his belt there. Michael Hayes is a damn good producer, man. He's been a part of some damn good matches, and most of the matches he does are Roman Reigns matches. And he's helped out with Triple H in NXT, produce some of the classics that we saw in NXT Black and Gold days. So who do you think they're going to get rid of? They're going to get rid of Pat Buck. But Pat Buck going on social media and claiming all family, all Creative Pro, you were fired, bro. You were fired. Those matches were critically shit on all weekend. Both matches. And the similarity between both of those matches were you. And they sucked. So WWE felt this. They knew it. They saw it. They saw the reaction. Goodbye. Who are we getting rid of? Pat Buck or Michael Hayes? We're going to get rid of Pat Buck. So Pat Buck is now with AEW producing one show a week. Schedule's easier, but he's on the road, right? He gets to spend more time with his family, but he's on the road. He gets to do Creative Pro, but he's on the road. He's not on the road as much as WWE, but it's the same position. You didn't give up producing completely. You made it sound like you were giving up producing completely to go do family and go do Creative Pro. But now you're right back in it, producing for AEW while maintaining the Creative Pro Academy and your family life. But you made it sound like you were giving it up altogether, which was not the case. You were just fired because of the shit job that you gave us for the greatest WrestleMania match of all time, the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, and it bombed. It never even had a chance to live up to the tagline that WWE gave it. Now he's with AEW. I don't know his work. Clearly, we only have that to base it off of. I don't really see anything resounding about Pat Buck's work. I don't know. Now he's with AEW. I wish him the best, but spare me the bullshit. Those matches sucked. They got rid of you, they canned you, and now you're with AEW. Rey Fenix. He's expected to return any week now. Rey Fenix has been out of action since January when he and Pentagon Jr. took on Jurassic Express for the AEW Tag Team titles on Dynamite in the beginning of January. Fenix suffered an arm injury when he was chokeslammed through a table by Luchasaurus. One of the nastiest injuries still to this day that I've ever seen live on television. Since then, Penta's been working as a singles competitor on Wednesday's Dynamite. He faced CM Punk in what was a very good match. Fans have been waiting to see the Lucha Brothers back in action, but they won't have to wait much longer. Fenix is scheduled to team with AAA Mega Champion Hijo del Vikingo against AEW's The Young Bucks at AAA Mania 30 on April 30th. AAA had previously advertised Rey Fenix and his return for their event in February, and then again for an event in Yucatan in March. Dave Meltzer mentioned on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio how Rey Fenix stated in a recent interview that he will be returning to action at this show. He says, and I quote, "They have a deal with AAA as far as the belts. The belt's going back to AAA, which, by the way, Fenix did an interview this week and said he would be back for Triple Mania, which is April 30th. We should be seeing Pentagon and Fenix back as an AEW tag team within a couple of weeks now." This is great. Now, if this was a rinky-dink show, I don't think Tony Khan would allow Rey Fenix to come back and make his return to pro wrestling after being out all this time at some random indie show. I know we did it in House of Glory, and I don't even think he was cleared by that point. Some people were saying he was ready to go. Meltzer was even one of them saying that, oh yeah, he'll be good to go by the end of February. I don't know if that's the case or not. I don't think he was ready to be cleared, and I think everybody was given false information and bullshitted. So we went on promoting a Lucha Brothers versus Briscoe match. That had to be changed, and Rey Fenix himself was even saying, yeah, I'm going to try and make it, without outright saying that he was not really cleared yet. So we had to change the main event match, and people were still pleased with what we got, but it wasn't the Lucha Brothers and the Briscoes. Rey Fenix is just as much of the Lucha Brothers as Pentagon is. You can't take out Fenix and then call it the Lucha Brothers. It's not. So the dream match is going to have to wait. So as far as Rey Fenix coming back, this is a show that's going to have AEW talent on it. This is a company that AEW has worked for. FTR is holding their tag team championships. So this is going to be given the green light and the thumbs up for him to make his return at this show and then return to AEW Dynamite, hopefully barring any injury here and any craziness that happens in Mexico, because you know how they do it in Mexico. Hopefully he's all right to make his return on AEW Dynamite, and the Lucha Brothers can get back together, because the tag team division right now is scorching hot with what FTR is doing and leading the charge in the AEW tag team division. AAA tag team titles, Ring of Honor tag team titles, great shit. Great shit. So this is going to be all right. If this was some random indie show, I don't think Tony Khan would give the approval. He wants it to be on a major stage. This is a major stage. This is a company that they've worked with before in the past. AEW talent will be on this show, and he will then make his return to AEW Dynamite, and the Lucha Brothers will be back together. So I'm just glad that he's back. And the injury, how he didn't break his arm, I don't know, man. The guy's made of fucking rubber. That's all I have to say about that. Shocking, to say the least. I thought he was done for after that chokeslam. Gruesome isn't even a fucking word to describe it, man. Whatever is worse than gruesome. Holy shit. I still cringe and I still shiver looking at the replay of that chokeslam through the table. Awful. But he'll be back, and Meltzer says sooner rather than later. And finally, guys, we have an update on AEW's new video game hitting the market, possibly in September. This is excellent news. AEW first announced their video game way back when no time frame was provided about a possible release date. All they went on and said, Kenny Omega is leading the charge on this project, Aubrey Edwards as well. We want the game to be the very best that it could be. I don't have any other information, and we are going to take this slowly, and we're going to give you the best product possible. Fightful Select is now reporting that there has been internal talk of the game being released in September, but that is tentative and not official. It was noted that there is plenty of work to be done on the game, but the plan for some time has been to release this year, and September is the target time frame as of this week. An AEW source stressed that this is a tentative release. It's not confirmed by any means. It still could be pushed way past September, and there's a publisher involved. It was also said that the fans can expect a game fairly soon, and if all goes well, but a lot of things can change between now and September, but they are aiming for September. It was revealed back in mid-March that there will be a story mode for the game, and that some of the AEW wrestlers were giving input into the storylines. It was also noted that several members of the Ukes team that helped create the popular Raw vs. SmackDown video games are also a part of the story mode process. While Ukes is known to be the developer of the AEW video game, no publisher has been announced, but this new report notes that a publisher is working with the AEW video game team, and it is believed that once the publisher is confirmed, there will be more information about the game released, such as confirmation on a release date and other details that fans have been wanting to know about the game. Kenny Omega is said to be determined for the video game to be a success, and word is that he understands how integral that this game could be for AEW and the entire video game wrestling landscape as a whole. This game will be released on PS5, PS4, Xbox Series One, or Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X. So it will be old gen and new gen moving forward. This is exciting because I'm already, to be honest with you, WWE 2K, it looks very good. It looks a lot better than it did. It plays a little bit smoother than I remember it playing, but it's still blocky. It's still chunky. It's still basically the meat and potatoes of it, the bones of the game. The innards of the game are all basically the same. There is nothing new about the game. The story mode is the same. The My Rise shit is the same. The movement system and the grappling system and the pinning system and how the game functions gameplay-wise, it's all the same. You've all been duped. You've all been duped. Oh my God, this is the best WWE 2K game of all time. No, it's not. No, it's not. I remember some of the early series games, 13, 14, being better than what we got now, graphically and gameplay-wise. Those games felt fresh. This does not feel fresh. This just feels like an overly polished game compared to the last edition of the game. And everybody, after the 2 years, are like, oh my God, they changed so much. It feels so different. No, it don't. This, not because I'm a shill, not because I'm on Tony Khan's payroll. If you guys remember the No Mercy games, same feel. You're going to get the same feel, and that's the best wrestling game of all time, in my honest opinion. WCW vs. NWO, No Mercy, Wrestlemania, all for the Nintendo 64. Best wrestling games of all time. Now that we know what we know graphically, and things have advanced the way that they have, this is going to be a great game. It may end up being the best wrestling game of all time. Just seeing the roster and the gameplay that we are expecting to see, and what it's already looked like in pre-alpha phase, this game is going to be a game changer. And I throw that word around a lot, and nobody really is a game changer. But this is going to be a game-changing addition of a video game to the video game market. Watch. I'm very excited. And September, if that is the release date, man, you can absolutely expect me to be all over that, man. More so than I am right now with 2K, because I'm already getting bored with 2K22. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for all of your supports on this extra. Let me know what you guys think down below. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 1,000 likes on today's video. Let me know what you guys think of the Giant Sing and how it could have been handled better. Am I too hard on Tony Khan coming out of last night's Dynamite? Let me know what you guys think of all the top stories in this video, and I will see you guys right back here on Off the Script this weekend, man. We should have a big live stream for episode 426 coming on Saturday is what I'm planning. So keep an eye out for that notification, and I will see you guys right back here in the venue with more OTS this week on Off the Script. I'll see you guys later.